Thank you, Doreen, and thank you, Akeem and Amandeep. Well, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and now we give you, as we mentioned, SDD Digital. Thank you both for propelling us to the future and for sharing your vision. Now is the time to delve into the powerful words you mentioned, and this is Act Two, the hope of digital, and we're going to showcase concrete examples of game-changing solutions for a digital future for all. And some of the solutions that we will see on stage today came through a rigorous process established by the advisory group of SDD Digital. So let's dive right into it. Let's take a look at this video. 2.6 billion people are unconnected. A digital future for all can only be possible if access to connectivity is universal and affordable. So to get us started, I have the pleasure to call to the stage Mohammed Shameel Joosub, who is the Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director of Vodacom Group. And we also have Jessica Rosenworcel, Chairwoman, Federal Communications Commission, and Juan La Vista Perez, Corporate Vice President and Chief Data Scientist of Microsoft. Thank you. Thank you all. So let me go with Broadband Commissioner Shameel. I'm excited about what you guys have in store for us today, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Doreen, and thank you, Akeem, for the powerful vision for 2030. It's ambitious, it's exciting, but let's bring ourselves back to reality for a moment. Today, in low-income countries, just 35% of the population have access to 4G. And while Vodafone and others continue to invest heavily in expanding our networks, this problem is far too big to be fixed by traditional methods. The world needs new, radical approaches. We need to boldly seize the opportunities in front of us. We must accelerate action and drive real global change. The convergence of the satellite and the mobile industries can help us with this opportunity. Now, something amazing happens when we're forced to act with urgency. When a crisis hits, we stop debating, we stop delaying, and we smash through barriers. I want to share two stories, real recent examples that show just how bold we can be. First, when the Ukrainian town of Irpin was devastated by Russian attacks, Vodafone Ukraine used a satellite-based network to restore mobile communications fast. Second, after Hurricane Beryl tore through the Caribbean in July, we turned to low-orbit satellites with our instant network on Union Island. Both examples show that in the middle of a crisis, urgent application of satellite and mobile technology can ensure that even in chaos, people's voices can still be heard. So here's the question. Can we harness this technology beyond war zones and natural disasters? Can we finally close the digital divide? Let's really think about that number. 2.6 billion people are still unconnected. 2.6 billion who are left out of today's digital economy.
In areas of conflict and natural disasters, where terrestrial networks have been destroyed, low-orbit satellites have helped us provide an essential lifeline for millions of people. But in a digital world, still missing 2.6 billion people, we need to take the same urgent actions and find bold solutions, such as satellites, to solve the world's coverage gaps, connecting people, no matter who they are or where they live.
$2.6 billion people are excluded from opportunities and disconnected from basic services. But I believe we can change that. Together with our partner, AST SpaceMobile, we are pushing the next technology frontier. We are working on a direct-to-mobile satellite network, one that doesn't need dishes or special equipment. We are aiming to plug coverage gaps in low and middle-income countries with this conversion of satellites and mobile in a safe, secure, and equitable way. Last week, 5 satellites were launched from Florida. They are currently 500 kilometers above us, preparing to test direct-to-mobile connectivity. This offers the real prospect of digital to millions of more people with just a regular 4G handset. With this technology, we can reach the last mile, the isolated communities, the farmers, the rural women, and the schools. Let me be clear, connectivity is empowerment. It's education, it's economic inclusion, it's health, but it's not happening fast enough. So how can we be bolder and really make the change we need to see? I leave you with 3 ideas. First, investment. To achieve universal access, we need $428 billion. That's significant, yes, but we need to think big, create a scalable investment strategy, and make it happen. Second, there is no point in creating satellite coverage if people don't have a device to use it. We need to lower the cost of smartphones to under $20 in the least developed countries. Removing duties and surcharges on low-cost 4G devices and promoting local production will help. Third, we need to ensure that we innovate in a way that truly benefits everyone and without doing harm, respecting the frameworks that keep us safe online. By the way, to succeed, we must think differently. Incremental change isn't good enough. We need something new, something bold. We can close the digital divide, but only if we are brave, innovative, and act today with true urgency. Thank you.
Thank you, Shameel. A lot of great points there. Jessica, now is your turn, so please tell us more about the importance of accessibility.
The big idea that I want to talk about today is going to change and save lives. I say that confidently because it already has. So let me explain with this story. It starts on Hawaii. And if you've ever been there, you know that Hawaii is a beautiful place with a landscape that is often green and lush. But the climate's changing. And last year, dry, wind-fueled flames raced along the western edge of Maui, which is one of the 8 major islands in Hawaii. It was the deadliest wildfire in the United States in over a century. The flames leveled the historic town of Lahaina, which is on Maui. And in the middle of this fire, when the flames were raging, we had 5 young people on the road on the outskirts of Lahaina. They were trapped in a white van. Skies were smoky. It was not clear where to go or what to do, so they decided to drive toward the ocean. But the roads to the water, they were blocked, and poor visibility quickly turned into no visibility. They were stuck in a sea of flames with nowhere to go. Terrestrial wireless services were knocked out, so there was no way to call the emergency number 911 for help. The van was hot and it was getting hotter. The situation felt hopeless. But you see, this crew of 5 young people, they survived. They're alive today thanks to a new technology. Their phone had a new feature, the ability to connect directly to emergency personnel by bypassing ground-based communications and instead using satellite signals delivered directly from space. At 6:14 p.m., their message asking for help reached first responders along with their location. And at 6:47 p.m., they sent a follow-up message to the dispatchers to say they had been rescued. Now, put simply, satellite to cell phone communications is a game changer. By combining space-based networks and terrestrial wireless networks, both can accomplish more together than either can do on its own. They can make our networks more resilient and more available whenever disaster strikes. And we saw that clearly in the United States, in Hawaii. But you see, the combination of these services can do even more. They can end mobile dead zones. And that's why in the United States, the Federal Communications Commission has set up a framework, the first of its kind in the world, to support supplemental coverage from space. That means we're making it easier for wireless carriers to have all of our smartphones connected through satellites when there's no signal on the ground. Now, this is part of a broader effort at the Federal Communications Commission to seize the communications opportunities of the new space age. To adapt to this era when rocket launches are no longer rare, constellations are no longer small, and satellites are no longer just big, bulky objects destined for decades in our skies, we created a new Space Bureau. And our Space Bureau has streamlined our regulatory process for licensing satellite services. It has updated our requirements to mitigate orbital debris, so new space actors are always good stewards of our skies. And it's put forward a plan to support in-space servicing, assembly, and manufacturing. Now, in the end, the goal of all of this is to build what I call the single network future. And what exactly is the single network future? It's a future where we no longer limit ourselves to thinking about one communications technology at a time. It's a future where fiber networks, licensed terrestrial systems, next-generation unlicensed wireless technology, and satellite broadband seamlessly interact in a way that is invisible to the user. It's a future where we have the power to end mobile dead zones. It's a future where it is possible to connect everyone everywhere. So let's make it happen. Let's build this future together.
Great, thank you, Jessica. Satellite to cell phone communication, no dead zones. Fantastic, incredible. Well, now comes something very special. Juan, you are next.
"20 years ago, a massive earthquake struck the Indian Ocean, causing devastating tsunamis that claimed the life of over 230,000 people in Southeast Asia. The disaster was foreseeable hours before it struck the coastline, but tragically, there were no warnings notification to people at risk. It was a turning point, one that underscored the urgent need for global early warning systems that can save lives in such critical moments. While early warning systems have their effectiveness to hinges the crucial factor, communications with the people on the ground, no matter how sophisticated our technology is, if we cannot reach those in harm's way, the warnings are useless. There is an illusion of accessibility and current data in today's digital age. However, this is a misconception. The reality is that in many parts of the world, population data is outdated by decades or more. The foundational knowledge of any early warning systems is understanding where people are located. That's why Microsoft has partnered with Planet Labs, which image the Earth daily in high resolution, and the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington to create the first high-resolution maps that show population shifts over time. To understand not only where people are, but also which of those people have connectivity to receive an early warning, we are collaborating with Doreen and her team at ITU in support of the Early Warnings for All initiative. As you can see here in Vanuatu, we have harnessed the power of AI with Planet satellite imagery and ITU data to identify communities that remain disconnected from communication channels. This information is essential for governments, companies, and international organizations to prioritize investment in infrastructure that ensures that everyone is reachable in time of crisis. Everyone in this room can be part of the solution. Through cross-sector innovation we can ensure that early warnings can reach the most vulnerable. This is about more than just warnings. It's about giving every person, no matter where they live, the confidence of knowing that they are protected and supported in time of crisis. There are 2.6 billion people in the world that are not connected. In our smartphones today, we have more processing power than the one that was needed to put a person on the moon. There are very important problems out there that can and should be solved with data. We no longer have excuses. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Juan, and thank you all to our speakers. And I invite you to go off stage and take your seat back in the audience. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen,